Great. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name's Chad Glover, and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director of Opportunity DeKalb. I want to start by welcoming everyone here tonight to the celebration of the graduation of the Spring 2026 cohort of the Breakthrough Community Business Academy. Thank you to everyone for joining tonight and supporting these entrepreneurs and supporting our organization. We're very grateful. To our graduates, thank you for the honor you give us by allowing us to walk alongside you. You are the leaders that we need in the communities that we're a part of. I want to thank the Opportunity DeKalb Board of Directors and the Breakthrough Business Advisory Board. Danita will highlight some of our many partners in her slides. Jonathan, could you actually go to the next slide? One more. Thank you. So Danita will highlight a number of our partners, but I want to call a couple in particular to your attention who are financial supporters in the last year of a particular level, which help us make the Academy accessible to the community members we serve. So I want to recognize the City of DeKalb, which from the very beginning has been a huge supporter of ours, and thank the city for their support. Also Kishwaukee College, Lucretia Conan, is here from Kishwaukee College. Lucretia, thank you for Kishwaukee College's support. Old National Bank and the Northern Illinois University Department of Management and the College of Business. Dr. Bart Sharp, who is the department chair of the Department of Management at NIU in the College of Business. Bart, thank you so much for your support as well. That direct financial support, as I said, helps us make the Academy accessible and affordable to the people that participate. I also want to thank Pastor Jonathan Crail and the congregation here at the First United Methodist Church of DeKalb for once again serving as a gracious host of this event. Pastor Crail's tenure here in DeKalb concludes at the end of this month before he and his wife move on to the next step in their journey in Wheaton. So Pastor Crail, thank you for your partnership and for everything you've done in the community. We're very, very grateful, and we wish you well in your next step. I also want to thank all of our individual donors, some of whom are in the room tonight. Without your financial support, we will not be able to make the Academy as accessible to everybody in the community as it is. We need that support to continue and grow in order to accomplish our mission. Thank you also to our many in-kind supporters whose contributions are also extremely critical. And of course, I want to also thank our amazing, incredibly talented Director of Programming and Community Development, Danita Sims, who also serves as the lead. Yeah, thank you, please. Not surprising that the Academy members start clapping as soon as I mention Danita's name. That's very well deserved. I say it every time at these ceremonies. If you want to begin to understand Danita's influence, just ask the people who participated in the Academy. So Danita, thank you so much for everything you do. You'll hear more from Danita here in a couple of minutes. I'd like to talk to you tonight about the connection between three things. The 250th anniversary of the United States, the 9th anniversary of the Annie Glidden North revitalization work here in DeKalb, and the 2nd anniversary of the beginning of Breakthrough Business. Some of you may be aware this is the 4th cohort of the Breakthrough Community Business Academy, and after tonight we've had 39 people that have gone through it to help advance their businesses as they work on goals for themselves, their families, and their communities. So in a few weeks, this country turns 250 years old, long enough to forget where we came from, long enough to mistake the polish for the foundation. So I want to start by reminding us of something you can only see when you're sitting in rooms like this right now. Some of you are at the beginning of something. Some of you are running businesses for years and came here to grow it, or finally to take it as seriously as it deserves. Some of you have been doing the work so long you didn't even call it a business until someone pointed out that it was one. Wherever you are standing inside a tradition older and wider than most of us were told, and at the front edge of what comes next. Entrepreneurship is key to America's story. I mean that literally. In the Declaration of Independence, a group of people announced they were leaving an institution that no longer served them, and they pledged in their exact words, "Our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor," toward that venture. 250 years ago this July, people put their names on a startup pitch where the punishment for failure was hanging, and they signed it anyway. So if anyone tells you that what you're doing here is small or separate from the real American story, you tell them that what you're doing here is the American story, the original one, the one we're still writing. There are a lot of parts of that story that are extremely important. When we say America was built by entrepreneurs, the picture we're often shown is narrow. A few famous names, a handful of railroads and oil wells and things like that. Those stories are real, but they're barely a fraction of it. The real story is wider, stranger, and more beautiful. It includes the enslaved entrepreneurs who grew vegetables on tiny garden plots after their forced labor was done and sold those vegetables at markets on Sundays. Most never got to keep what they earned, but some, dollar by impressive dollar, bought their own freedom and their children's freedom with the proceeds. Or the next generation, born to parents who had been enslaved, who built successful businesses when most banks wouldn't lend to people who looked like them, and became self-made millionaires in America. It includes the immigrants who turned a cart into a stall, into a shop, into a name that their grandchildren still carry. The Americans who pooled their savings to buy buildings. And right here in DeKalb, the immigrants who came to work the wire mills and factories, and the ones among them who saved, learned, and became owners. It includes the family farms worked by the same families for generations. Every one a business with payroll and equipment and seasons of profit and loss. The small-town hardware stores in towns too small for most maps, handed from grandfather to father to daughter. The family diners along two-lane highways where the coffee's been hot for decades, and the names on the booths are the names of the families who built the town. That is a tradition, not a narrow one, but a vast one, built by people who were often kept out of certain rooms and by people who were in small places that others stopped paying attention to. People who built their own rooms and eventually built the rooms the rest of us are sitting in. Now, I want to point out something that they had in common, not because once you see it, I should say because once you see it, you can't unsee it. No one waited for perfect conditions or from someone from the outside to rescue the place they lived in. They looked at what was already in their hands and in their neighborhood, and they built forward from there. That's not just a nice story, it's a method. You build a community starting from what is strong in it, not from what is wrong with it. And you build it from what is genuinely yours, taking from no one. Much of the world looks at a neighborhood like the one we're in tonight and starts counting what's missing. The vacancies, the needs, the problems. They see a glass half empty and wait for someone with money and a clipboard to fill it. We do the opposite. We start by counting what's already here. And there is so much already here. Someone who knows every family on their block by name, someone who's been quietly holding a piece of their community together for years without anyone ever putting it on a balance sheet. Those are assets. Those are the raw materials of an economy our community already owns. And here's the thing I want you to see. The eye of an entrepreneur uses that looks at an empty storefront and sees a bakery, at an unmet need and sees a business, at an unused skill and sees a livelihood. Our graduates already have that. That's why they're here. They looked at something most people walk past and they saw what it could become. So understand what you're really doing. You're taking an asset this community already has, your skill, your hands, your idea, your relationships, and turning it into something that throws off more jobs, more dignity, more reason for the next person to stay and build too. 9 years ago, the community here in DeKalb did exactly that on the scale of a single neighborhood. People who live in and around Annie Glidden North, which is the neighborhood you're in tonight, looked hard at a neighborhood that a lot of the wider world had already written off. And instead of counting only what was missing, they counted what was here and made a plan to build on it. It's called the Annie Glidden North Revitalization Plan. That plan didn't just name problems and wait for someone else to fix them. It called for building something permanent to carry the work, a community development corporation rooted in this neighborhood and accountable to it. Opportunity DeKalb formed to answer that call. Years of deciding over and over that this neighborhood is worth investing in. We're not perfect, and we've certainly made our share of mistakes. but we wake up every day committed to working collaboratively with others to achieve the goals the community set for itself. Which brings me to breakthrough business. We knew from our research that successful entrepreneurship communities and ecosystems can be built with population bases of 100,000 or more people. So we knew our work needed to be rooted in the Annie Glidden North neighborhood, but reach much farther. We were fortunate to learn from people like Norm Walzer, who's in the audience tonight, whose scholarship and guidance has deeply influenced our work. We got to know people from rural communities, people that were connected to us by Jerry Foster and others, who had begun convening people from these communities to discuss ways to work together. It was at those meetings we met people like Brian Zawicki, who's in the audience tonight, as well as Marcy and Al Kinney, who were committed to the future of their towns. It was people like Jerry, Brian, Marcy, and Al who began to connect us more to entrepreneurs in their communities, who began joining Breakthrough, much like Danita, people like Malia Jones, our earlier Breakthrough graduates, and others had done here in DeKalb and Sycamore. The collaboration focuses on turning a neighborhood's own people into owners. A big step in doing that is the academy our graduates just completed. The Community Business Academy isn't something we invented from scratch. Danita will talk a little bit more about that in her slides, but it's a proven model that has helped people in hard-pressed neighborhoods around the United States turn an idea into real registered revenue-generating businesses. We didn't invent it, we took what already works and we rooted it in our soil, built from what's already strong here. 2 years old, barely walking in the life of institution, and already it has done the thing institutions so rarely manage. It has turned out a room full of owners, 39 so far to be exact. So here we are. What do we do moving forward to build on an inheritance like that? In every generation, somebody in some neighborhood, urban or rural, immigrant or sixth generation, black or white or brown, decides to try something or to keep trying after a hard year. That isn't a footnote to the American economy. That is where the American economy starts. I think we stop pretending entrepreneurship is something you need permission to do. Nobody started the work in Annie Glidden North 9 years ago waiting for permission. Permission is a story we tell ourselves to explain why we didn't start, or why we don't grow, or why we keep playing smaller than we are. You don't need it, we don't need it, together we never did. So as the parades get organized and the country tries to remember what it is, remember something simpler. You are what it is. The person revising a business plan for the 11th time, that's what America is. The one finally moving the business out of their kitchen and into a real space. The one who didn't know what they had was a business until someone told them, and is now ready to call it one out loud. That is what America is. You are not the audience for the American story, you are its authors, and the chapter you write will be read by somebody long after you're gone. There's a child in our communities, maybe not even born yet, who grew up seeing the businesses that you're building and will decide to build something on their own too, because you showed them what was possible. You may never meet them. They're a big reason this matters. So when you put your name on the dotted line wherever you're about to sign, the lease, the hire, the loan, the price you're finally raising, you join a tradition that runs from America's founding through every garden plot and push cart and family farm and barbershop and storefront in this country. Through 9 years of this neighborhood refusing to be written off, through 2 years of breakthrough business helping to turn neighbors into owners, and out the doors of this academy tonight, and it stretches forward past all of us, toward the people who will inherit what we build and carry it on. So let's build something together worth inheriting. Thank you very much. So with that, I would like to welcome to the podium our Opportunity DeKalb Board President, Glenn Roby. Glenn?
What an honor to follow Chad and to have the work that we have that Danita produces with each of the academies that have gone through. These are truly exceptional people that make an impact in the lives and our community. I will begin my formal remarks. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Opportunity DeKalb, welcome. I'd like to thank the board members of Opportunity DeKalb and Breakthrough Business for their work and support of everything that we have done thus far. To our graduates, our supporters, many of you, and of course, the folks that host us in this wonderful space, thank you. Welcome to our graduates, to the families and friends who carry them here, and to everyone who believes that a good business can change a life and a neighborhood at the same time. I serve on this board, and I want to be honest with you about that. The board didn't write your business plan. Sorry. The board didn't make your first sale or sign your first lease. We didn't sit in the chairs that you sit in or do the work that you do. The truth is that a program like this succeeds because of the people in front of me. The graduates, their families, and our team, which of course includes Danita and Chad. Behind the scenes, the work is so small next to all of that. So I'm here to tell you what the board has done, and I'm here to tell you what you have done, and to make you a promise that those of us whose job it is to support this work will try to be worth the effort you put in. You set the standard tonight. The rest of us have some catching up to do. Let's be clear about what you actually did. You showed up week after week, after long days at other jobs, and with families waiting at home. You showed up. You learned to read business documents when it would have been easier to look away. You stood in front of strangers and pitched an idea that lived until recently only in your own mind. You took feedback that stung, and you came back the next week and used it. This is not a small thing. Most people with business ideas never take the first real step. You took all of them. I want to say something to the families, because the graduates have a way of forgetting you. The late dinners, the rearranged weekends, the go on, I got it here, and we saw it, even if we didn't see you. Every graduate that will be on this stage is standing on a foundation that someone else helped pour. Thank you for pouring it. To our staff, thank you for the unglamorous work you do, the patient, repeated, line-by-line work of turning a dream into a plan. That's where dreams actually get built. Now, graduates, let me tell you what tonight is and what it isn't. It's a real accomplishment, and you should let yourselves feel it fully. It is not a finish line. A certificate from this academy is not a guarantee. It's a tool. Tonight, you walk out with a sharper vision of what's most important business asset there is. It's you. You know more than you did, you can see more clearly than you could, and you are not alone anymore. That last part matters most. You came in as individuals with separate ideas. You leave as something else, a class, a network, a community that is now yours. When the hard moments come, when the hard months come, and they will come, you have people to call who understand exactly what you're facing. Use them. Call them. And someday, when you're the steady one, pick up the phone when they call you. I'll leave you with one charge. The world has plenty of people who can tell you why your business won't work. Be the kind of owner who builds it anyway. Carefully, honestly, and with your eyes wide open and your books in order. Build something that serves your customers and strengthens the place you call home, our community. That's how a neighborhood gets stronger, one owner, one storefront, and one paid invoice at a time. So congratulations to the spring 2026 cohort of the Breakthrough Community Business Academy. You earned every bit of it, and the community you're about to serve is lucky to have you. As for the rest of us, we'll be working to keep us and to keep up. Now go build it. Thank you, graduates. We truly believe in you and your futures. Let's make it happen. Thank you. So next up will be Ms. Danita Sims, our rock star.
Well, we've made it to graduation. I'm so proud of you guys. I am. I'm so very proud. So Danita Sims, I'm the program director in community development and the lead instructor. And we say lead because we had some help. If we go to the next slide, there are a couple other people in the audience. Andy from DCDC has been amazing in helping us in the class, as well as Bart has been a tremendous resource. I just told him today that we'd have his picture on the screens, so they're gonna find out where you are now, Bart. But I say that because we have an amazing team, an amazing support system for the Academy and for our graduates, and I could not be more prouder. If we can go to the next slide. So the Breakthrough Community Business Academy, right? It's a 12-week cohort-based academy where we're focused on your business as an entrepreneur. This particular cohort, the graduates that you see before you, actually comprised of businesses that had already existed. No one came in with an idea that hadn't made it into the market or to customers already. And so a lot of what we did polished what they already had. I was so proud of that and challenged by that. The conversations in the classroom were a bit different, but they were something that we could still build on as a group. Next slide. So I'll talk a little bit about Rising Tide Capital. Chad mentioned an organization that we built this curriculum. It isn't something that we created from scratch. We actually work with an organization, it's another nonprofit out of New Jersey, who's been doing community business academies across the country for over 20 years. So DeKalb is a part of that network. We're very proud to be a part of that network. And it took some work to convince them to bring the curriculum to DeKalb, little old DeKalb. And we actually have sister organizations throughout in Chicago, Illinois. So between Chicago, which is Sunshine Enterprises, and Opportunity DeKalb, those are only two community business academy networks in the state of Illinois as of right now. And so we're very proud of that. There are graduates that are graduating all throughout the country, tens of thousands of them, and DeKalb is on the map. So I'm so proud of that. If we go to the next slide, there's the map. You see the little circle there? That is DeKalb. Opportunity DeKalb made the map. So we're talking major cities throughout the country that are quite bigger than ours, and so we convinced them to allow us to cover the county, which is why you might see our graduates are coming not just from the city of DeKalb, but throughout the county and even the outskirts of DeKalb County. Next slide. And so you'll see some familiar faces there. I'm not going to quote them verbatim, but you see the quotes there. The work that Rising Tide Capital has done over the 20 years has been recognized by political officials because of the economic development impact. A lot of times we say we have a side business or a gig or something we just do on the side to earn extra money, but it's actually a part of a major ecosystem and communities throughout the country. And as Chad eloquently talked about early in the presentation this evening, it's not something that's new. It's something that our country is actually built on, and we should be very proud of it. And so a lot of entrepreneurs that we meet often tell us about their little side business, and our minds and our eyes are obviously much bigger than that. We know that there's a bigger story to tell. There's legacy there. We have a set of cohort members this evening that's a mother and daughter. We've had cohorts in the past that have consisted of spouses and relatives. It's not just your little side business. You're building a dream and you're making it actually happen when a lot of people just talk about it. And so we're very proud of you and very proud of those in the room. And I know there's others in the room who have businesses as well. And we can't wait to support you once you're ready. Next slide. And so we'll talk a little bit about, actually, I don't have my glasses. And I have cute shoes, so I can't be rushing either. So we got to be careful. But anywho, I just want to talk a little bit more about the impact of Rising Tide's work in DeKalb. It's just been an honor, a complete honor, to be able to do this with our entrepreneurs. And one of the things that we like to include, besides the map, of course, is that this work continues to happen in different areas where people have had to do it by themselves. Our goal is that you don't have to do that by yourself, right? The goal is to be able to continue to share all the different things that Rising Tide offers in these other entities and bring it here in DeKalb. So in 2017, Rising Tide's entrepreneurs opened a business every 3 days. Every 3 days. This is 2017. We're in 2026, right? And they created 420 new jobs. 420 new jobs, okay? We're not talking about big corporations. We're not talking about people moving from one area to another. We're talking about building businesses within a community and creating jobs from our ideas. That's an impact that's not small at all. The work of connecting business and economic freedom and aspiration to community and belonging is the most important work of our lifetime. That statement came from the co-founder of Rising Tide Capital. So these are the folks that we've connected with to bring this type of energy to DeKalb. Again, working with entrepreneurships that live here, work here, pay taxes here, raise children here. They build businesses and build dreams here. And we want to keep them here, right? Or do we want to run them out of town? No, we want to keep them here and support them here, just like you guys did tonight by visiting their tables. Next slide. So who is the Breakthrough CBA for? Who is it for? Back in October of 2020, Dr. John A. Powell spearheaded a candid conversation about belonging and actions needed to create a culture of belonging in our community. And some of us in the room were here to be a part of that conversation. It was via Zoom. And there was a project funded through a Healing Illinois grant from the Illinois Department of Human Services and DeKalb County Community Foundation in partnership with Family Service Agency, City of DeKalb, Elwood House Museum, DeKalb County History Center, and NIU to help co-create a culture of belonging in our community. So this is not a conversation that's new. This is something that's been happening for quite a while. We were so happy to invite Dr. Powell to come and lead that conversation. But we want to talk a little bit about, let's bring it home, about what does that mean for DeKalb County entrepreneurs. Next slide. So that includes quite a few entities, right? Some people, when we say entrepreneurs, they don't know if we're talking to them. They don't know if we're speaking directly to them. And I want to encourage you, if you sit in any of these categories, we're talking to you. Whether you have a brick and mortar, you have an idea in your home and you just serve maybe family and friends that were customers, whether you have a food truck, whether you have a 1099 contract situation, you're still considered an entrepreneur. Next slide. What we like to see for the Breakthrough CBA is that you have one clear business idea, that you are able to communicate that one business idea. And I emphasize one business idea, because a lot of us have tons of ideas, but we haven't moved on it. and we don't have customers yet. So we want ones that have at least one customer with that one business idea so we can move forward in the 12 weeks and you can focus. Next slide. So there are 3 topics we went over. We cover a lot in the academy in the 12 weeks. The 12 weeks goes really fast too. And we say 12 weeks and people are usually in the beginning, they're like, oh, okay, I can do 12 weeks. I can mosey on over with my idea. And then we're on week 6 and they're like, what? What just happened? I don't understand. We can't be. Yes, we are. But in the 12 weeks, we cover quite a bit. Pricing, like we talked about, is a big topic. The business planning, bookkeeping, cash flow, sales planning, branding, legal structures, intellectual property. We even talk about commercial kitchen access and local resources that are available and potential for credit and capital. If you see those numbers there, that's reflecting our survey results, because we wanted to know, out of those who are interested in our spring CBA, what were the top 3 topics that were of interest? Number 1 was business planning. Number 2 was bookkeeping and cash flow. And number 3 was branding and marketing strategies. So we just wanted to share that's what a lot of our interested parties were wanting to learn about. Next slide. The investment. So we're going to talk a little bit about what does it mean to be a part of the academy. There's actually a huge cost. $3,000 per student is the actual value of this type of academy, and this is the value across the nation. What we've done and what we hope to continue to do is bring in community partners and different entities, private funders, to make sure that cost is as low as possible for our graduates, for our students. We don't want people coming in who are trying to build something from nothing to have to dish out $3,000. Now, not to say that we won't. Well, Chad and I probably won't. We'll probably, live at Hope Haven before we do that. But anywho, we can't bring ourselves to charge that much. But that is the actual value. They receive a huge textbook, workbook with tons of resources that they get to keep for themselves throughout the 12 weeks. And each week that we come together, they are working on their business. They're not working on a fictitious business as an assignment, as a traditional classroom, but they're working on their business each and every week, building what they learn and actually using it and coming back and talking about it and discussing it. We share resources in the space. We're able to connect with different professionals that we know. So it is our hope that we share what's going on in those spaces so that our partners realize what we're looking for. We're looking for support to continue the academy, but also to help with our graduates beyond the 12 weeks. And as you can imagine, once you figure out your pricing structure and you figure out what it takes to profit, and you're brave enough to have a table and host a table to talk about your business, your service, your product, you probably need a little more help as you continue with your business and to continue to profit. So some of the things on our wish list, I always like to say, what are we looking for in the future? Exclusive commercial kitchen access, legal assistance, legal aid, small business capital, bookkeeping, CPA services, tax planning, government contracting, certification support, and procurement guidance. Those are the things that are immediate to what we're seeing a lot of our alumni need directly following the 12-week academy. So just to give you an idea. Next slide. So let's talk numbers. Everybody wants to know the numbers. Let's see if I can actually see this. Okay, so we had quite a few that joined us in the academy, right? 29 DeKalb County area residents were interested in spring 2026 alone. 16 of those attended informationals, whether in person or virtually. 10 submitted complete applications, which is not a small task. Yes, we have a process. You can't just say you're interested and show up to class. And then we had 7 graduates to join us on today, completed all 12 weeks. Now the 7 graduates, 2 of them are from DeKalb, 2 from Sycamore, 1 from Waterman, 1 from St. Charles, and 1 from Leland. So what does that mean? We're spreading out, folks. Okay, so the more rural sections of our community. And that was always our intent, not just to stay in one place. So we want to make sure we're accommodating entrepreneurs all throughout the area. Next slide. So now what does that mean? What does those numbers break down to? If we look at, let me see, make sure I got the right one. I think I got the right one. So 4 successful cohorts. You see my eyes? I'm trying to make it work. We got 39 graduates total, and that's a breakdown of just where they're coming from, where everybody's coming from. So 39 total graduates today. Can you believe that? We already, just so you know, we already have folks interested in fall. We already have folks that have been signing up, reaching out to us to join us in the fall. We have roughly about 10 so far. I'm imagining after graduation, because we are streaming right now, the church has allowed us to stream live on Facebook. And so I'm imagining even after this presentation, we'll have even more to sign up. If you're in the audience and you're interested and you've got at least one customer, we'd love to meet you. And that's the goal, right, of sharing what we're doing in the 12 weeks and beyond. Okay, next slide. Look at that breakdown. So we got a over 80% retention rate of our graduates, which I'm very proud of, because some people do get mad at me because I do make you do your homework. You do have to turn that in. It's only fair. We all have to do the math. I know. We got calculators to help. We can do it together. I believe in you. We show spreadsheets so people are not as intimidated with the bookkeeping part, but we have an over 80% success rate and retention rate with our graduates, and we're very, very proud of it. And those are just the numbers for each and every cohort. And that's with very limited staff, by the way, extremely limited staff. So just imagine if we had a full staff out there in the community vetting for this program. Next slide. Here's a complete picture of our partners. We've actually had to shrink some so we can add more. And these are just different organizations, chambers of commerce, businesses, corporations, banking institutions, educational institutions. I'm very proud to see that NIU is there, Kishwaukee College is also there. We have the support. We have the city of DeKalb. We have county of DeKalb. DC has been amazing as well. We have churches that are also on that list. And so we have a number of entities throughout the community that are supporting what we're doing for our local entrepreneurs. Again, this is not bringing in corporations, although that is important to economic development of our community, but these are entrepreneurs that live here, work here, pay taxes here, raise their children here. They're our neighbors, right? They're our coworkers that have a dream. And if we're able to support that, we would love to continue to do that, and we cannot do that without the support of our partners. Next slide. So now we get to the fun part of awards. I'm going to ask my associate, which is basically a mini-me. She won't tell you her name, so I will. Her name is Charlotte. Charlotte, would you mind grabbing those checks for me over there? Thank you, Jan. So we did a elevator pitch competition, and we announced those winners, first and second place winners. But now we have an executive summary competition, and we have 2 winners to announce. There wasn't a tie. We were hoping there wasn't a tie. But we have 2 winners. We have first and second place. Now, what they did in the 12 weeks, along with the homework assignments, was they had to do a written piece, which is a huge chunk of a business plan. If you've ever written out a business plan, you have to have an executive summary that gives a big chunk of what your business is all about. But you have to think about everything. You have to think about competition. You have to think about your target market. And so they had to write all this out. Now, the elevator pitch is verbal, right? You stand in front of folks. We give them 2 minutes tops to present their business oratorily. But the executive summary is written. And so it's a little different part of the brain, a little different of a challenge. But we do have our second place winner. And if you go to the next slide, our second place winner, you're gonna come up and grab the check and take a picture. This is not the point to be shy. But our second place winner is Rion Gibson. We always joke with them that they can keep the big check as long as they want, take as many pictures as they want, but they don't get the real check till they turn in the big check. Our first place winner, I know they're not gonna believe this, but our first place winner is Gabriella Kersey. So I just want to say to this group as well, in particular, we had a lot of life cards. I'm going to try not to get emotional. We had a lot of life cards. So we say life cards because we do business simulations where we have to break up in groups and pretend we have this business to try to profit. We break out monopoly money and everything. It's really intense to watch adults compete, and the simulations do that. So they have to, on the spot, think about how to profit, and we give them a lot of rules about the business, what they can and cannot do. And so in that game, in those games, we do 3 every time, and we do life cards every Thursday. And sometimes it's a flood, sometimes they got robbed, sometimes they have a sick family member that they have to pay money for medicine. And it's out of our control. And so with the simulations, it's a game, it's expected, there's a life card every Thursday. But in real life, life cards just show up. And so even with this group, they had some personal things to show up during the 12 weeks, and they still persevered, they still showed up, they got caught up on homework, they realized that this was a priority that they could not miss. And so just from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for persisting. It's not an easy thing, I don't take it lightly, and you can't get rid of me, like I've mentioned before. Even if I see you in Walmart, expect a big hug, okay? All right, next slide. We are going to introduce you all to all of our graduates, and they're going to receive a certificate. So when we call your name, please come up in front of the banner. We'd love to take a picture with you. So our first graduate, who do you want to come up? You want to show me?
Yeah, real quick, we'd like to invite Andy to come up and join us because Andy, as Danita mentioned, has served as a teaching assistant. Come up, and Gip, would you like to come up too? Gip Seaver? He's shaking his head, but I'm shaking yes. So Gip is the chair of our Breakthrough Business Advisory Board. So Gip, if you'd come up. Glenn.
Listen, you gotta be picture ready. Can't do great things in the community and not be ready for the pictures. And I'm gonna brag a bit, our photographer today is also an alumni. Okay, so our very first graduate we're gonna announce here is Tanasia Adams. Next, we have Gabriella Kersey. Rian Gibson. And that's Rian Gibson, MSED. Denise Horn. Melena Kinney. Michelle Lane. MSN, SNP, BC, FPA. Lisa Neves. We'll do the next slide. So here is our flyer, just so you're aware. If you're interested, if you are an entrepreneur yourself or you know local entrepreneurs who could use some support in growth in establishing their business, that is our official flyer, and we are recruiting for fall as of right now. And next slide. And we want to just thank you all for coming. We appreciate you, and I don't know if Chad has anything else he'd like to share.
So real quick, we just want to say thanks to everybody for joining us and for all your support. We do have two kind of traditions that we always close out our graduation ceremonies with. First, we'd like to have all of our graduates come up and get one photo together. And at the very end, we'd like to have all of you come up, because entrepreneurship is not a journey alone. You're doing it with your friends and your family and your community members. So after we get one photo with all the graduates, we'd invite all of you to come up, and Fernando will get one big group photo. So please.
Yeah, right? You gotta get up front.
You ladies need to come around. There's one on the front step, because they will never see you, so you need to be